Okay, now it's time to light the big green egg. So the first thing you want to do, once you have it all set up, you want to have the vent wide open down there, and then have all your charcoal and your wood, depending on what you're doing, set up. I've got a matchstick down there that I'm going to light both ends. So you light both ends of that, and then you just kind of stack your lump charcoal around that, and then get your wood close by. And you're going to let that start, and you're going to let that burn about 7 or 8 minutes with the lid open. Alright, it's been about 7 minutes. It's going pretty good. So before I put the place setter on there, I'm just going to shut this down. And I'm going to leave the lid open and not put the vent on there yet. So I'm going to let that burn off here for probably another 5 or 10 minutes, depending on how it goes. Alright, we're back. So it's been about 5 minutes. As you can see, the temp on it's about up to 450, but that's kind of false advertising just because the flame's so hot in there right now. But we're going to start shutting it down and getting it ready for smoke. So first put that on. But more importantly, we're going to close the vent down here to stop the airflow from coming in the bottom. And we're going to start about right there until we can regulate it, and we'll close it up way more than that. But for now, I want to keep some airflow through, but not too little and not too much. And on the top, I'm going to keep this thing basically wide open until the temperature regulates. So it should stay on this about for 5 to 7 minutes, and then it should get down around between 150 and 200. Okay, it's been a couple minutes, we're back, and it came back down to 250 pretty quickly, so we're going to get the inside of this thing set up like we need to for a long smoke. You can see it's nice simmer down there. So the first thing we're going to do is put this place setter back in. You're going to put it in feet up, and always put this third triangle at the back of this, because the heat's going to come up the back. And that's the hottest part, so to disperse the heat, you put that there so it separates the heat on this side and this side, so this side doesn't get too hot back here. And then as an added bonus, I put a water pan in. This is totally optional for the big green egg. I prefer to do it. It creates a little bit more moisture. So that just sits right on there, and then you're going to put the grate right on top of that. So that's set up. You see how that is? The meat sits right on top of it. It's going to drop juice down in there, create a lot of moisture. So we're going to shut this down. I'm going to dial it in about like I'd have it when I'm cooking a long brisket, maybe a little more open. So you can see it's barely cracked there, and on the bottom here we're going to crack it down to just a couple millimeters. I'll do just about like that for now. So that's nice smoke coming out. I'm going to let that run about 10 minutes and we'll see what the temperature's at. Alright, the temperature is stabilized around 200. It's been going about 10 minutes. Now the worst thing you can do on the big green egg is put the meat on when the temperature has not stabilized, because when you put the meat on, especially, I mean, this is a 15-pound brisket, you're going to put a cold, actually it's room temperature brisket on this. By nature, the temperature of the grill is going to go down about 50 degrees. So you want to have the grill at the right temperature before you put the meat on. So we're going to put the meat on now, and then it's going to take about 30 minutes for it to get back up to the right temperature. But okay, so we've got the meat on. Again, this is about a 15-pound brisket. One tool that you must have for long smokes: a thermometer that's got two temperature probes. One that's the temperature at the bottom on the actual grate itself to tell the temperature of the grill itself, and then a meat probe that you stick about halfway into the thickest part of the meat, and that's going to tell you when this thing's done. So on a brisket, you want to get your brisket not at 180 like a lot of people do. You want to take that brisket off when it's about 185, 187. This fat on brisket won't melt down until it's about 185, and once the fat melts down, that's when you get the really good flavor, and that's when it's done. A lot of people take it off at 180, which a lot of times it could take about anytime it's up to 2 hours from it to get from 180 to 185, but that's the money spot when it gets to 185. So all that's set up, we're going to shut that down, kick the lid back to our configuration there, just about like that, and we're going to shut that down just about like that. You know, it's a 1/4 of an inch there, much smaller there. That'll stabilize around 215, 225, and I'll cook this brisket about 17 hours with that configuration without touching it, and it'll be good.